Some years ago we acquired this postcard depicting Horace Monto describing himself as the original versatile soldier. Clearly some kind of music hall artist, what intrigued us was his wearing of what appeared to be a service medal, hinting at some previous military service. A search online located a different postcard which confirmed this service, stating he'd served 13 years in the Royal Scots Fusiliers, including over 8 years serving abroad in the East Indies and South Africa. It also confirmed what we previously thought, that this medal was a Queen's South Africa medal for service in the Boer War, with 6 clasps including the relief of Ladysmith and Tugela Heights. However, once we started to do a little more digging, things got a bit more mysterious. A search of military records on Ancestry and Find My Past websites found no hits for anyone named Horace Monto, and in fact nothing was found in any sources in those websites. A check of the Scotland's People website for a Horace Monto came up with precisely 0 matches for anyone born in Scotland. While we came up blank on his military service, we did manage to find out a little more about his time as a variety and music hall artist. The earliest notice we found dates from May 1899 and an appearance at the World's Fair in Dublin, where he was described as a good comedian and mandolinist. There's then a gap until about 1905, which would match with service during the Boer War, sometime between 1899 and 1902. And by 1906 he's already billing himself as the versatile soldier, late Royal Scots Fusiliers, and in October that year sees the first mentions of his musical potpourri act, Tommy Atkins at Play. Tommy Atkins was a popular slang term for a British soldier at the beginning of the 20th century, would have been a well-known term for audiences at the music hall. This act would prove to be a long-lasting one for Horace, as he continued to present it for more than 10 years, possibly updating it with new songs and topical references, as seen in this advert which mentions a new song, and this one which refers to it featuring a topical budget of passing events. Beyond this we don't know much about the nature of his act, and can only rely on brief snippets of information gleaned from newspaper reviews. One from May 1909 after an appearance at the Empire Theatre in Swindon stated that Horace was certainly a versatile entertainer, being a good performer on the banjo and mandolin, playing the latter instrument behind his back, an acceptable vocalist, a dancer and an Indian club swinger, and all in one turn. Mr. Monto's turn had a cordial reception on Monday. Horace was certainly popular, at one time described as being encored nightly for his efforts, and his act continued through the years. In fact, he was well known enough to be used to endorse some products, as can be seen in this advertisement for a travelling hamper, saying as he did that he was exceedingly pleased with it. His act continued during the First World War, although by this time the variety hall acts were combined with silent cinema viewings, and in one instance he shares the bill with the most popular act of the day, Charlie Chaplin. The Great War doesn't seem to have dimmed the audience's enthusiasm for a singing and dancing soldier, although it is interesting to note that in some ads he placed looking for engagements he describes himself as ineligible for further service, possibly to escape criticism that a former soldier such as him should have been serving his country during a time of war. From 1919 it seems he was presenting new shows entitled things like Silent Watch and Happy Moments, perhaps a sign that maybe after 4 years of the Great War audiences were tired of seeing this particular Tommy Atkins at play. His engagements continued into the early 1920s, as can be seen by these playbills from 1920 and 1921, but this is the last year where his name appears in the bill of any advertised shows. The final newspaper appearance we can find comes from December 1921 in a wanted ad which he would have placed himself seeking further engagements. He may have continued working for many years after this, but we've not been able to locate any further mentions of Horace Monto. The final newspaper mention located for him comes from early 1937, in the Stage newspaper where, in an annual report, his name appears in the list of artists who had passed away the previous year. Unfortunately, although we can track the progress of his act as he performs around the various theatres and music halls, nothing of who Horace Monto really was is clear, apart from one brief mention in a wanted ad from 1912. In this ad, he saw fit to add a note of thanks for messages of support for his wife who'd undergone an operation in the Royal Infirmary in Manchester. Her name in this instance is given as Mrs. Montgomery. So was Horace Monto really Horace Montgomery? Well, perhaps not. There are no military records of a Horace Montgomery serving in South Africa, either with the Royal Scots Fusiliers or any other regiment. It seems that, like the full nature of his musical act, the story of who Horace Monto really was has perhaps been lost to time. Do you have any further information on Horace Monto? Can you add to this story? Please get in touch, either through our website or in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed the story of the mystery singing soldier. If you'd like us to feature more stories like this, please post a comment, and don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to our channel to learn about new videos we post.